Welcome back to 23-Minute Reads with me, Mya D. This is kind of like my virtual book club because in these 5-minute or so videos, I share with you my takeaways from my current reading. Right now, that is Critical Response Process. As a part of my 23 to 23 challenge, I'm reading 23 minutes per day, every day as an action of self-love, as an investment into myself, and as a way of providing myself with some consistency in an ever-changing world. Hoping that you will join me along in this journey by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and dropping some comments down there in that comment section so there's an actual dialogue going on. Having in mind that while I have several decades of experience as an educator, as a dancer, and a curriculum writer, I'm not the know-all be-all for this book. I'm simply providing a space for dialogue. Well, this week I read pages 34 through the end, and let me get my notes so that I can give you my takeaways. Feel free to go ahead and like and subscribe while I'm getting these notes. Takeaway number 1 is signaling agreement. This was actually found on page 33, but I felt like it was uber important, so I wanted to carry it over into this week. The purpose of this process, meaning the critical response process, is to offer feedback that improves your creation. Signals of agreement can be things like finger snaps, head nods, 2 fingers up in the air that are performed by responders when they agree with a comment or a statement of another responder. These signals show the artist how many people are having a similar experience while decreasing the repetition during the feedback, thus leaving space for others to share ideas or other ideas so that you can get further in the process. Takeaway number 2 is no response. The facilitator never responds but actually guides the responders. Here's a quote from the book. She offers guidance on framing questions and responds but never actually participates. So she is the pronoun used in the book at that moment, not but. And I want you to remember that anybody can be a facilitator. That was just the case in this specific quote. This actually goes back to something that was mentioned earlier last week, that the facilitator is kind of like that traffic organizer, help guiding the conversation. The facilitator, if they would like to respond, so they would like to shift into that responding role, then there needs to be a shift of roles, meaning that somebody else needs to take on the role of the facilitator while that facilitator shifts into another role in order to keep the balance aligned. And takeaway number 3 is variation. So while there are multiple variations of this process accounted for in the book, all of them seem to equally have a level of balance between those roles, the roles being the facilitator, the responder, and the artist. The book also contains multiple variations to this process, like actual concrete examples. And what I was most interested in was, 1, how the process could be used in higher ed for course evaluations, and also how it could be used in production talkbacks. And I love the fact that it said it's a great idea to do that talkback the next morning or the next day so that people who have time to digest that, what they just saw, because not everybody is ready to respond immediately, and for some of us we need to move past through the emotional space into our logic space in order to have the most beneficial conversation and feedback. And working on my ands. So what most interested me in the variations is, 1, that how it can be used in higher ed, the production talkback, and the simple modifications in general that could be used to make your experience what you need or what you wanted. Speaking of modifications, I have to modify our schedule a little bit as I'm waiting on some books that are on back order. So I'll actually see you on November 8th. That's a Tuesday because that's when these videos go out with our next book. Feel free to drop book suggestions into our comments, or just drop a book in the comments so I know that you're there, that you're here with me. I want you to stay blessed, spread a good word, and I'll see you again soon.